Welcome to Share Talk, the only podcast where investors come first.
Hello and welcome to Share Talk. Today I'm joined by Neil Moles, who is CEO at Progeny. How are you today, Neil?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I had a few internet problems. I'm a bit sort of like lost in the headlights at the moment this morning, but I did like the headline regarding people over 45, let's say, not being, well, they're concerned about their pensions and probably don't really know what to do about it. The other question is, do they actually need to have a pension?
Okay, so we've recently conducted a study here at Progeny to look at why people potentially aren't saving, what fears they potentially have, and also to really start to look at what people do need to be doing and why they need to be doing something. So the basic results of this study, what's at the heart of this is that people recognise that they need more knowledge, but simply they don't seek advice, which is a real genuine problem. 29% of people have told us that they want to know more about pensions, but yet they don't ask. And, we know that people have fears over financial planning, over financial advice and the whole sector. But they also have regrets later on in life that they've not sought advice. We have, a stat that 23% of people, one of their biggest regrets is simply not saving enough.
Right, but I mean, they're taking it on to, I wish I was 45, I'm actually almost nearly 10 years older than that. So the reason I was interested in this message that I got was basically making it all about me. Obviously, I'm spending on a family. I'm spending maybe on the rent or the mortgage. And it's just as much as I can do just to keep the ship afloat, let's say. So that's one thing. Second thing is that most people who half think about their retirement or old age, one thing that they probably can't even retire in the first place, which is where I am. Second, if they have thought a bit more, they'll be thinking that they would sell their house or wait to inherit some money from a close relative. So that's the other thing. So they've just, something would fall into their lap at a later date. And then finally, which is actually maybe in a way the main stumbling block which you've touched upon, the pensions industry and what they do and who to trust is probably the biggest block on going in getting involved, in the sense that you don't know who the sharks are or whether there are any sharks, and you don't know whose advice to go for. Clearly in the pandemic environment, and then obviously after the global financial crisis 12 years ago, you're not getting any money in the bank at all. You can't sort of put some money away and get 5%, 10% a year as you did in the 80s and 90s. And so it really is, it is a problem. The conclusion that, let's say, most people might have now is that, well, it looks like I'm just going to keep on working, and my pension will be the work that I do after the age of 65, and that's where we are. So really, it's a very big, it's a headache that you don't really want to think about. You just keep on working. So after all that, how can you and how can Progeny help?
So I think that the starting point is that, to go on any journey, to start any plan, you need to be on square number one. You need to know where you're starting from. So whether, people's expectations in the past has been that, they're going to inherit money, downsize, that all has to be part of a plan. Otherwise, you're just, working through the next stages without really, allowing the fog to lift and seeing where you're going to get to. So what planning allows people to do is just to take that step back, look at the perspective of what's going on around them. And, even if you can't afford to do these things now, I think the important thing here is to know why you're doing that and where you're going on that journey. You can't jump in a car and expect to get somewhere without knowing what the destination is. And, it's really important that as part of any journey, and especially look through the pandemic, it's been a reset for a lot of people. A lot of us do have internet problems now. We do find ourselves working from home. And, I think it's been a reset for everything, our expenditure, our spending, and our future aspirations. Perhaps they've changed as well. So now's the time to check that. We're all taking temperature far too often at the moment, but do the temperature check, understand where we are, and then start to plan for the future and put those building blocks in place.
Right. And if there's one thing that I can do, because presumably we could talk all day and I could complain all day as well about how things are going. If there's one thing, what is the, let's say, to use your analogy, what is the one GPS setting that I can get or look to as far as my pension or my retirement plan?
I think the key to all of this is never assume. Okay. Get an understanding of what you've got. Most people, when it comes to pensions, have 5 or 6 pensions, and they get a statement, chuck it in a drawer, and in a year's time they may pull it back out, but they don't understand what the complete picture looks like, and they certainly don't understand what that could provide them. So again, they're in that fog zone. They don't really know, they don't have clarity over the future. So the key message in all of that is find out where you are today. Dust those things off, pull them together, and if needed at that point, seek some professional advice.
Right. I mean, this recording, this interview will go out on Share Talk. Share Talk's mostly people, I'm guessing between 40 to 60 or 40 to 70, something like that, taking a punt on the latest, greatest AIM stock. Presumably they're hoping that it will go from 10p to £1 or to £10, and if they put it in an ISA, they'll have a nice pot there, tax-free pot. But if you're somebody like me who has no pension arrangements at all, as I said, what would I do now?
Well, I think obviously you've got those people that are investing in potentially high risk stocks, and that's, I think there's Plan A and Plan B Plan B when it comes to retirement. Plan A is to make sure that you at least know where you're going. Plan B, is hope for the best and plan for the worst. Well, if you are punting on those stocks, then you're clearly hoping for the best. But it's also good to start to have a plan for the worst. But look, that simply could be continuing to work and making sure that you're in the best health and mental place to continue to be able to do that. So it doesn't always come down to numbers. It can come down to health and well-being as well.
Right, and just to give people a background in terms of what Progeny does, you're the CEO there. What was the idea behind the company, and what does it do?
So Progeny is one of the country's first financial planning firms that combines both legal services, tax, and financial planning. The view was that people didn't want to go and find different professional advisors, 3 or 4 different people to do one thing. So we've put all the advisors in one room, now on one screen, to enable them to have a single point of interaction.
So I would phone you up and say, "Hi, I'm Zach. This is what I'm doing. This is what I've got. What would you suggest?"
Absolutely, and one of our planners or specialists would sit down and discuss that with you.
And you're a one-stop shop, so that gets rid of the phoning around and guessing and everything else.
Yeah, it's one source of truth when it comes to your personal finances and legal matters.
Well, I wish there was one source of truth in other areas of life as well, but we'll try and find them. In the meantime, Neil Moles, CEO at Progeny, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Remember to visit our website for more news and other podcasts at www.share-talk.com.